Let me give you some examples of specifically how someone could make use of a kernel. Let me take first the example of a teacher wanting a child who has ADHD and isn't medicated or has a kind of hyperactivity in the classroom that's driving everyone crazy. Well, a very simple procedure that a teacher could use under those circumstances is something called beat the timer and the mystery motivator put together to help that child. So a teacher might take a timer and another part of a kernel called a mystery motivator and put those two things together. So a young child in the classroom is fidgety, wiggly, can't pay attention, always very hyperactive, etc., driving everyone crazy, including the teacher. Now what the teacher does is explains to the young person and say, "Hey James, hey Jane, I'm going to set the timer and you don't know when it's going to go off. When it goes off, and if you've been sitting still and you've been paying attention, we're going to get to go over and draw from Granny's Wacky Prize Box a prize that will benefit the entire class. So we might all get to sit backwards in our chairs for 15 seconds, read sitting on top of our desks, or something very silly like that. You set the timer, the child can't see it, and at first you set the timer just briefly so that the child has a chance of success. The timer rings, that child is now the hero of the class because he or she gets to go over and draws a prize for the entire class to benefit. What you're doing for the first time is actually teaching the child to have voluntary control over attention and their physical movements so that they can learn to do that without having to medication. That is an evidence-based kernel that works to reduce ADHD, hyperactivity, and increase academic achievement, which has approximately 10 studies showing it works. Well, that example we just gave of beat the timer using the mystery reward is easily tested, and you can look this up, go to our website, see the studies that cite this. For example, how we might do that is today the child sits on a regular chair and we don't do beat the timer with the mystery motivator. So the child's wiggling, fussing, say, "Hey, look at me, teacher. Hey, look at me, class." The next day we come in and we explain we're going to do beat the timer, we're going to set it, and he's going to win. So, sitting like this. Okay. So the next day, we take it away. Jiggling around. The next day, we put it back in. Perfectly sitting and doing the work. That's called a reversal design. That is the first experimental design ever used to test medications, and it was used by a very famous doctor to test that insulin actually helped control diabetes. That's a highly acceptable design. It's something that you or I, a teacher, almost anyone can use and do and prove that a kernel works. So what would that kernel cost in the classroom for the teacher? Well, the price of a music CD, it's about $16.99. And so when the teacher registers for that kernel, they get to see a video explaining how to do this. They get to see other teachers using this. They get to hear teachers talk, other kids talk about this. And the teacher would get to type in the relevant details for his or her classroom, for their situation. And then they get a printout of the specifics that they might need to make it really more effective so that it's tailored for your circumstance. And then you get all sorts of other supports that come along with it.